Hey, Christy Mattoon here with Rewire. So please like, subscribe, and share. I always appreciate that. Look at me or look for me at on Instagram and Facebook and all of those kind of places. I always appreciate that too. And I have different information circulating in different places sometimes, so it can be a good thing to do is go look around. Excuse me. What I want to talk about today, and I just now did this little series on mindset and trying to understand mindset. Your mindset is super, super important, and understanding the difference between the brain and where your neural pathways are stored and the mind itself is super important. There's a super important distinction between the two because you can operate in either one, right? And the mind is more kind of equated to your heart than it is your brain. Your brain's a storage locker. And so when you start operating out of the mind, which is your heart, instead of the brain, we get a bit of a difference. We get a huge difference. It just is. Because they don't produce the same chemicals physically, physiologically, and they don't react the same. You don't act the same when you're participating analytically versus participating spiritually, or participating and putting your focus inside of your heart place and allowing your heart to guide you instead of letting your brain dictate your past back to you because of your neural pathways. Now, if you start changing your mind, you start changing your focus and awareness, all of this changes, and you can restructure the content of your brain by focusing your intention onto something else, into a different area. If you focus it on the physical plane of existence, if you focus it on this material plane that we live in, you will see material things show up, and you will find chaos eventually. You just will, because that's what this plane of resistance is, what I wanted to say, this plane of existence dictates. It's what it gives us. And it's because of the way we created it. It's because of the way we keep doing this. Now, if you do the same thing, but you put your focus in your heart space, and then you start creating, you get a totally different outcome, because instead of creating in chaos and things that are stuck in your pathways and your neurology, you're creating from a whole open, different space. It's a space of wholeness. It's heart-centered emotions, love, compassion, completion or gratitude. You're dictating your existence from that state of reality. Does that make sense? Huge difference in operating from brain matter or operating from the heart mind. Huge difference in outcome. And it's literally retraining yourself to do that. Now, how do you do that? That's part of what I teach people. And you can go through past videos, or you can seek to work with me privately. I also have a group starting up that I'm about to, I've actually been throwing it out. It's going to be a 6-week course, and I'm turning this into an app. This app is what is going to hopefully help people perpetuate themselves through the pathways that we have locked into our brain. I have told this story a few times about the garage idea, where you buy a new house and you have this lovely, huge 2-car garage, and down in one corner of it, off in the left-hand back corner, you stick a box. And it was a box that didn't fit in the storage inside the house, so you just place it out there in the garage and you forget about it. And then the next time you have a box that has some stuff in it that you didn't know what to do with, you set it on top of that box. And then you set the next one on top of that one. And then so on and so on, until all of a sudden you've got all of these boxes and things thrown in there and stacked on top of it and around it. And pretty soon that pile grows and grows and grows until it's like right at the garage door. You open the garage door, and we've all seen these places. You open the garage door and it looks like all this junk is just about to vomit out onto the driveway. And that's kind of the idea of what's happening in our subconscious brains, our subconscious minds, right? That's kind of the idea of what's happening, is nobody ever took the time to clean that junk out. So if you think about it that way and you start unpacking the garage, you start taking these boxes out, and you can look through them or not, it doesn't really matter. And this is literally how it works when we're trying to clear up the past for somebody, right? We're getting rid of the emotional attachments. Is you don't have to look inside the box. You don't have to know what happened that caused your issue. You just have to clean up the emotional backlog from it. And if you can get all the way back to that first corner, that first box, and get that out of there, if you take that one out first, everything else comes out by proxy. It has to. It can't not. So we kind of seek to go underneath it all and get behind it in such a way that when we take that first box out that you stuck in there or that got stuck in there, everything else has to come out. It just has to. All the attachments comes undone, everything clears up, and now all of a sudden your brain is empty, right? So to speak, as empty as you can get it in that moment. And as you realize things popping back up, you see it differently because it's not the same attachment. It's not the same level of emotional struggle. So it appears different. So you can handle it different. And you can even handle it the same way. You can just come back at it with heart coherence or with a whole brain state and keep jogging it, keep moving it, right? Keep getting rid of it. The less stuff you have stored from your past in your subconscious mind, the easier ascending into whatever's next becomes. The more you realize you can attach yourself, and the more you realize you can bring forward your future or be in the present moment and actually enjoy it and do something with it. That's kind of the goal. That's kind of the goal in my head. The goal in my head, like the end, huge, big goal, is ascension. It's the ability to ascend into what's next. And more than just this physical plane of resistance or existence, however you want to put it. And when you understand that, when you get to that place where you can go, oh, like there's more than just gathering stuff here. So that's kind of what that is. So we're going to go on a little trail of understanding the subconscious as far as from an empty state, how do we start progressing ourselves, right? And this is not a soul regression. I think we've done some of this way, like in the time it worked, right? It was helpful. We thought it was helpful. So soul regressions, was that helpful? Some people say yes. Some people say, well, I kind of think I learned stuff, but I don't know what to do with it, right? So you're kind of stuck with the information you got. Let's do soul progression. Let's forget about regressing things and start progressing things. Let's move it a different direction and see if you can get more movement inside your own system. Because I think when you understand that you can actually do that and you don't have to go through the struggle or the idea of the dark night of the soul, it doesn't work in this period of time. And it's not progressing you fast enough to get you to the place you need to be in this period of time. Things have shifted. We're not in the same place we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, right? 20 years ago. Some of the protocols are kind of antiquated at this point because of our knowledge of quantum physics. They have become antiquated because of our new knowledge. So let's start understanding some of that stuff. So follow this series. This is video number 1, and we're going to start going on a light journey and see if we can progress the soul and move the dial. If you're interested in this app that I mentioned, right now it's in its kind of trial's not the right word, but trial stages. I'm getting it up to where I think it's going to be the most helpful. So I'm bringing in founding members, and these people are the ones who are helping me define and kind of grow the direction that this is going to go, and it'll be up and running here in the next 3 months. The app itself will be. The founding members will have access for a lifetime. If you want to be one of those, email me at christy@mindrewire.com, and I will send you the information. It's an application you fill out to get you started, and then you have to talk to me. I have to make sure you're a right fit to help me do this. There is a small fee for it because I'm putting in a lot of my time, and I'll be working with you personally to get you from point A to point B, and I need feedback. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. But contact me and I'll send you that information, or go look on my Facebook page. All right, I bless you. Thank you for being here, and stay tuned for video number 2.